This is Kitzur Yomi as we continue learning the halachas of different psulim in the Sefer Torah. We're middle of Siman Chaf Dalit in the Kitzur, and we pick it up from Siv Zayin, and we'll take it to the end of the Siman today. B'siyata Dishmaya. Says the Kitzur Kshenimsa Psul. When a psul is found in a Sefer Torah, she'etzricha noitzi Sefer Torah a psul that necessitates, a psul gamor that necessitates taking out another Sefer Torah. Says the Kitzur, Im nimsa being gaver the gaver of the psul found between aliyos. Ma'itzi and Sefer Torah acher umatchilim mimakam shepasku. And we pick up from the place in which they left off. You don't have to go back to the place where it is puzzle. Rather, from that aliyah. And you continue and you complete the appropriate number of aliyahs. And those who've already gone up a Sefer Torah apostle to read from the apostle Sefer Torah, Oilin leminyan akruyim are included in the number of those who get an aliyah. Vimhu b'Shabbos, and if this occurs in Shabbos, if you could lane 7 full aliyahs in the new Torah, yasakin again, but it doesn't mean going all the way back. It means from that place forward 7 aliyahs. Lachash, in order to be suspectful, to be concerned, l'dasai gadolim disfirlu demashakar b'sefer Torah apostle that which you read already in oilu lahem. The Hanayim Lavachi on Shabbos, we could do this. Why? Loisiv Arbe Kriyim, because you're allowed to add on. So during the week, not, but on Shabbos, it is best to lay in another 7 in the new Sefer Torah. Continue with Sivchas and Nimsa Absol Bemsa Kriya. It's the middle of an Aliyah, Zayish Cholik Deyas Aminagim, there's a Machloikas. We call Makam Yachsam Minagum Shudar Minak. Now the obvious question, okay, dear minhag, but I don't know what my minhag is, or we don't have a minhag. Says the Kitzur near a lead, the Eish Lasses Kavach Katzah b'Shulchan Aruch, do like the Shulchan Aruch. Shalom Levarich al Sefer Torah apostle. You don't make a Sefer Torah, you don't make a bracha, on the apostle Sefer Torah. Right away, we point out note 43, which brings to the Mishnah Berurah and Kuf Mem Gimel that if you already read 3 verses before it was possible, then you would make a bracha Asher Nasan Lanu after the Leni. Ella rather, Mavsikim Miyad, you stop right away. You might see in Sefer Torah Acher, you take another Sefer Torah. Matchilim Makim Shabbos, you start from that place. Let's say it's the middle of a pasuk near Eli, says the Kitzur. Go back to the beginning of the pasuk. Gomer Saparsha and include that parsha. Continues the Kitzur Vinir, and it would appear the Yikra Lai that you should always read B'Sefer Torah Akasher in the Kitzur Kasher Chabachah Shalish Psukim. You should always make sure you have 3 psukim. V'mein Oid Shalish Psukim. Now let's say there's only 1 pasuk left in the Aliyah. Atash L'Masidra, or 1 pasuk to the end of the Seder. Yatchilu L'Mafreya Ksas. You go back a little bit. Umavarich bracha achrayna, and then you make the second bracha asher nasan lanu. For bracha rishayna, in a you don't make a new asher bachar banu. Tasla bracha shviach sefer Torah apostle, because lamais you already made that bracha. And the reason is because, in as much as it would not allow you to read, but you've already done some kosher reading. Gupash, it says the Kitzur, it's obvious. If you be able to have 7 aliyos, sefer Torah kosher yasa kain, as we've learned. For I didn't similarly, I feel you didn't bring in to read at all. For this aliyah. Shenem Sabsol, they didn't read anything in this aliyah. Miyad lachar bracha. Right after, Shenim Sabsol miyad lachar bracha, you found the psol right after the bracha. Gam kain, Moitzi and Sefer Torah acher, they take another Sefer Torah, Vein avarich oid bracha rishayna. You don't make a new asher b'char banu. Ve'in lachalik ben kriya ha'achrayna. The final aliyah, the shar kriya is b'nin zeh. Umaftir, and when it comes to maftir, and they come on, simin ayin chas. We continue with Siftah, says the Kitzur, Nimsa Basel with Sefer Torah, Vin Sham Sefer Torah Acher. It's possible, but you don't have another Torah. What do you do now? Mashlin Loi, we complete the reading, meaning Akruim, the number of Aliyahs below. Bracha is a fascinating entity. You're going to continue reading from that Torah. Why? Note 51 points out, because there are opinions that all the mice, even though it's possible, you could still lean from it. But because of the suffix, of course, and because of most places hold you cannot, you don't make the bracha, but l'mais you have to lane, so you'll continue laning. We continue with Seviyot Yeshayim. Says the Kitzur, Shenim Sebesol Sefer Torah b'chomish. Echad, if the psol's in 1 chomish, mutali Christ by b'chomish acher. Read from another chumash. Kigoin. Im absol b'sefer breishis motalikros b'brachos with the brachos b'sefer shmois. And says the Kitzur, even though I just said that if you have and forced to read from a sefer Torah, that's possible you don't make brachos. Says the Kitzur, but if it's in a separate sefer of Yishlisach Alzeh b'shas atchak shlei efsh l'taknoi, if you can't fix it, you found the psal, but before the next Shabbos you couldn't fix it. So if it was in a new sefer, you could lay in with the brachos. Oishim said b'Shabbos of Yantiv, or it's found in Shabbos and Yantiv, and you still have to lay in, you don't have another Torah. Kol makam b'Shabbos and Mincha, ein lo yitzia, don't take it out. Kivon she'az, ein akriya choyve kol kach. Fascinating, so you wouldn't have any laning at all. Because the etzem takana of Shabbos mincha laning was for those who didn't go to shul Monday and Thursday, and therefore says the Kitzur, if your only choice is to lane from a pasuk sefer Torah, you would not take out the Torah by Shabbos mincha. And we continue with Sif Yud Aleph, says the Kitzur. If there is a tear in the Sefer Torah between the two parchments, two columns, if the majority is still there, you could read from it. Again, I read that wrong. And Nikra Tfir State Yiriyos, it ripped, but didn't rip entirely. It ripped on the seam. So says the Kitzur of Roiv is there, Kairim by. Vim Lav, then you need a new Sefer Torah, what seems Sefer Torah. The main Sefer Torah Acher, Imakeru, if the tear is Bizach, Chomesh, Tzvichon, but in the Chomesh you're reading from in Kairim by. LMK Nishar, L'chabach, Chomesh Tfiros, so this is at least 5 Tfiros to the end of the Parsha. Sefer. Avol Makairu, but Chomesh Acher, it's in a different Chomesh Kairim by. And again, this could happen if you didn't get someone to fix the Sefer Torah between 1 week to the next, etc. And we continue with Sif Yud Bey, says the Kitzur. Nivza Shaila Chalib, some found wax or fat should not have al ois teva. It dropped onto one letter, it dropped onto a word in the Sefer Torah. If you find it during the week, Yasir, you should remove it. If it's Shabbos or Yantiv, if you could see the oisios through the wax, then Yekru by Kach, let lane with it that way. But if it's so covered up, near in that you can't see underneath it, if it's in a place you don't need to read, you can read it from the Sefer Torah. Meaning, if it's from, let's say, a previous aliyah, it's not going to pass up Sefer Torah b'brachas. I said it's covering over the letter, but also you're not allowed to read even one letter. You see the word, but there's a letter missing, so you're not allowed to lean that word al kain. In Bev Shari, if it's possible, to remove the wax of a yad in an unusual manner. The hainu, how do you do that? If it's completely dry, it's like and if you fold the parchment, it's going to fall off on its own, then yasakin. But listen carefully, he did not say, because on Shabbos, you're going to be not allowed to remove the wax entirely. Says the Kitzur, but if they cannot be removed in such a backhanded manner, then you're not allowed to leave for the Sefer Torah, I am for Megadim, Berheitev, etc. And from the week they remove the fats of the fat, if it's on Hashem's name, Yashkichu, be very careful. So you don't come to erase a letter, get a little bit hot, and then it's going to run off, and then you'll be able to remove it. We'll pick it up from Siman Chav Hey in the next year in Mirza Hashem.